Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Doctor Who Reviews. This week we are covering the second of the David Tennant and Catherine Tate specials for the 60th anniversary, Wild Blue Yonder. This one is, as the name suggests, absolutely wild. And to discuss it with me, I'm joined by my three co-hosts. Firstly, to my virtual left, his favourite film is Mavity, starring Sandra Bullock. It's Freezing Inferno.
Oh, however did you guess?
Because I'm psychic, you know. I'm not really.
How many fingers am I holding up?
3.
Holy fuck, I really was!
This is not like getting to talk some burn the witch. Anyway, to my virtual right, her favourite Disney show is Mavity Falls. It's Concave Usurper, better known as Cat.
You know what the funny thing is? I haven't actually seen any of Mavity Falls.
I hear about it. I think I should. I think Drunken Dead shared a gif of Uncle what's his name running with money, which we used.
I watched all of it in like 3 days. It's amazing.
Good to know.
Uh-oh.
And finally, his favorite video game is Mavity Rush. It's Kuchiri.
Fun fact: I played it for like 10 minutes and got bored.
Wow.
His favorite video game is Mavity Rush. It's Kuchiri.
Well, you're really hit and miss with these.
Maybe that was intentional. Maybe someone was supposed to screw up. Maybe I couldn't find many things to work with the word Mavity. Who knows?
That's true.
Why are we talking about Mavity all of a sudden?
Well,
Honestly,
that's to do
it's
with...
because of what Donna does in the beginning of this episode. It's really weird.
Yeah. She screws up history. Thankfully, Isaac Newton fixes it again.
Yeah, seriously. Jeez.
So helpful of them.
Put that word back where it could also help me.
But no, for
yeah,
some reason, you know, Donna and the Doctor, they're in a runaway TARDIS. They land in an apple tree. And, of course, who do we know in history who has something to do with apples?
Johnny Appleseed!
Johnny Appleseed!
I forgot about him. And I'm American.
Oh wait, no, George Washington was a cherry tree. Never mind.
It's a pear tree, wasn't it?
No, that's a
Johnny
partridge in a pear.
Appleseed?
Alan Partridge is the pear tree.
Johnny
Get down from there.
Appleseed, the famous pear tree enthusiast.
Yes, Johnny Appleseed. Who? Whatever. Yeah, they landed the tree. We get a brief scene where Isaac Newton, played by Nathaniel Curtis, is being talked to by his housekeeper. He goes outside, the TARDIS lands in the tree, and then, of course, Donna and the Doctor screw up history.
I think she was trying to make a joke, but she mispronounced Mavity. It was weird.
Yeah. Surely you can appreciate the gravity of the situation, says Donna and the Doctor, and then they disappear. What was that delightful word, says Isaac Newton, quickly remembering that it was Mavity.
Yeah, weird.
And by the way, if you have a problem with this actor playing Isaac Newton, maybe don't.
But Radiac, he's not a white person anymore. They're coming to get us.
Would you appreciate if Harriet Tubman was played by a white actress? Or
I heard people saying that he was played by an Indian actor. Firstly, he's actually mixed race.
Mm-hmm.
One Indian parent, one English parent. Secondly, I couldn't tell that guy was mixed race.
hasn't he been in a few other R2D shows?
It's entirely possible. He does like have a cast that he likes to reuse again and again from his different shows. Like Anne Reid was in years and years after turning up in Doctor Who as a villain.
So
years and years before that.
So basically, the type of person who kicked up a fuss about this is the same type of person who, for the sake of argument, would hold a grudge and withhold a 60-year-old Doctor Who story's rights because of that grudge. But that's just a hypothetical.
I mean, you said it, not me. I couldn't possibly comment.
Yes, because I'm not in the UK, so you can't possibly comment.
And what I do like is that they do call back to this scene throughout the rest of Wild Blue Yonder. Not just a cheeky throwaway opening scene.
Oh my God, Russell T Davies has changed the canon of Doctor Who.
Okay, possessed Mickey Mouse.
TARDIS Wiki had better update every single page that says the incorrect word gravity to change it to mavity. After all, if they were so vigilant as to strike within 5 minutes of Cat vandalizing the wiki to change the name of these aquatic enemies to aquatic Silurians and not their canon name, then surely they must uphold the sacred canon and change all instances back to mavity. I rest my case.
Honestly, if Kat was silent for a prolonged period of time during this podcast, I'm just imagining she's going on to TARDIS Wiki to change gravity to mavity.
Good.
You're saying like that hasn't already happened.
Fine. Honestly, what I'm actually doing is I'm trying to decide if I should actually say my opinion on this whole thing or not, seeing as you guys seem to have a very hard opinion on this.
No, that's a different Mega Man boss.
But anyways, you know what? I'm just going to put it in there, and if you feel it's wrong, you can cut it out. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of people taking characters and making them a race that they're not. It's kind of like with that whole Cleopatra thing where they made her a black woman when she was very clearly Greek of origin. Or when they took, what was that movie called? There was a movie about a dog in Japan, and they made it played by a white person.
You mean like Hachimo?
Yeah, that one.
The dog who waits like 100 years?
Hachi.
Yes, that well, not 100 years, but yes, that one. And they put like a white person as playing the obviously very Japanese man from the original story. It's like, if it's a minor character where it doesn't really matter, I'm fine with that, you know? But if it's a major person from history and they take their race and they make it different, that feels like either A, pandering, or B, you're using somebody's race in order to essentially fill a quota.
I think that's fair, because when Mary Seacole turned up during Series 13, if they had cast a white actress as Mary Seacole, you just know the other side would have been up in arms.
Yeah.
Yet they're fine with Isaac Newton being portrayed by somebody who's not potentially the same skin color as the real Isaac Newton was. As I say, he's a minor character in this. I don't really care.
So basically, Kat, you object to it going both ways. You don't want...
Oh, I object to it going both ways. I don't really want white people being played by people of color because, you know, that feels like pandering to me. And I don't want people of color being played by white people because obviously that's whitewashing.
Yeah, exactly. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, and it's like, if you think about the historical context of this, it kind of feels like that's one scene where the master had put on this screen so that the Nazis wouldn't tell that he's a person of color.
Oh, God.
Like, I hate to tell you, I hate to say this, but back then, during Isaac Newton's time, a man who was that race or that mixed race or that color would never have been a house that nice, would never have been able to have a white servant, would never have been able to take them seriously. And like, I don't like the implications of that, essentially.
It's a very good point.
I will say one thing about that. History is written by the winners.
Yes.
This is true. This is very true. And it's like there have been I've listened to, and we know about them, but there's going to be plenty of people that we don't know about because nobody recorded down their discoveries or their abilities or what they have done. And honestly, I find them to be absolutely disgusting.
Sorry for talking over you just then, Kat, but
oh, no,
we do have instances of darker skinned people living in Tudor times, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fair to say they are not the majority.
Yeah.
It's very much the exception rather than the rule.
Again, it's like that whole thing with the master. It's like, I don't know. It just feels gross to me to do something like that. It feels like exploitation. Kind of like when they take, you know, like an actor, like a trans actor, and they put very much not a trans person. It feels like they're just trying to fill the quota of, look, we have a trans person. Isn't that great? Look, this person's queer. Isn't that fantastic? Do you like us now? Do you like us now? We're inclusive, quote unquote. I promise.
It's a thorny issue, isn't it? But I think with the gay and the trans thing, it's acting. End of the day, you want the best actor I don't obviously not. You don't want a white person playing a historical black person or vice versa. But at the end of the day, it is acting, and if an actor can portray a gay character well or a trans character well, I don't know. I mean,
like,
I'm not trying to be a bigot here. I'm just trying to open up the debate.
No, I get what you're saying. It's like, I am fully fine with trans actors, gay actors, whatever you might be. I don't care what you are. Just tell me what your pronouns are. Don't get mad at me if I get it wrong the first time I meet you. And, I will give you the respect that you deserve as a human being, because that's what you are. You're a human fucking being. People, bigots, stop being assholes. But things like, this is a difficult topic to talk. You just have those people out there who are like, person. And like, you could be the best goddamn world, and you could play that beautifully. But if you are not that skin color, you may have not the same experiences back in a black role would know of. You won't have the same experiences as somebody who is mixed, who is character. And like, you could do it. You could do it. But I always worry what is offensive to people, what's not offensive to people. What is an actual good actor versus someone who has lived the experience, essentially.
And then we cut away from that Isaac Newton scene to to the meat, and you're getting cancelled. To I think it's happened like 5 times already. But
yeah.
Imagine, speaking of cancelled, we have an actual person who has been cancelled by Uncle Elon. So
yeah, that's true. Poor
I mean, all I did was just make a suggestion of what a transphobe can do with a cactus. I meant no violent message behind that whatsoever.
To which I say, if you care to look at this call, to which I say this. you keep on keeping on, Kuchiri, showing you crazy diamond you. But yeah, we cut to this extremely lonely atmospheric spaceship because this is a bottle episode for the most part.
Here's my take.
Yeah,
on that.
that's a good contribution too.
But ignoring what transphobes can do with a cactus of their own volition and not forced by any of us in a violent manner.
I mean, I would add.
We should talk about the biggest strength of this episode, which is just it is basically a bottle episode. The only players in it, aside from one at the end, are David Tennant and Catherine Tate, and they just are slowly exploring this massive, mysterious spaceship with the TARDIS having retreated because of I think it was the HAD system, which has come up a couple times in the show.
Yeah, there's your obligatory classic reference.
I even love the
and
fact
also your
that,
Cold War reference.
I even love the fact that when the TARDIS leaves, it also takes the sonic screwdriver with it, so the Doctor is well and truly screwed here.
Yeah,
I think that was a good decision actually, because it made him more helpless.
And you really want that in this story, and just the next several minutes of the story, we're assuming the usual, and then this happens, and then this happens, because you can't just say, and then this happens, and then this happens. For the whole point of it is just this lonely atmosphere. It's just these two exploring a weird alien place and trying to figure out where the hell they are, when the hell they are, what the hell is going on, and slowly discovering things piece by piece before, well, the main antagonist of the episode catches up with them in horrifying detail, which we will get to. But this is the biggest strength of the episode for me, I think, is the way that this is structured with the atmosphere and how they explore. I made it a point in my text review not to mention, the various things it reminds me of, but I will dip my toe in a little bit. It reminds me of a early season 1 Star Trek Next Generation, which definitely had that vibe. Now, early Star Trek is the season 1 is about 50% just complete utter shit and 50% cosmic wonder genius. And it's the latter, of course, I'm talking about here, because it's just, this is a strange fucking place. As we discover, they are at the literal edge of the universe, beyond everything. You can't even see starlight. You are beyond where light has been.
Well, before we get to that, they're in a massive, miles-long corridor. Like,
They're in a penis.
they're in another long corridor. You know,
I said it.
RTD's favorite thing.
And Doctor Who, one big corridor for Doctor Who to run down. Yeah.
Damn it, Kat. I knew somebody was going to make that reference, but it didn't have to be you again.
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have made a reference to them being a giant tube that's slowly being sucked into a black hole, where eventually Bill would be turned into a Cyberman.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a penis. So moving on.
And then, like, you know, the radiation is the same thing that, you know, is outside the spaceship at midnight, but other ties and links.
Yeah, but the first,
I just love that. Cassie drops like that looks like a penis, and then moves on.
It's
It's
me.
it's a scene from Austin Powers. That's a penis.
Is that where that gift comes from?
No.
no.
That's different.
Yeah,
No,
that
there's
was
a
the-
scene-
No.
There's a
No.
scene where
Yeah, I know
Dr.
the scene.
Evil-
I thought he was. I thought that other famous "That's a Penis" GIF was.
no.
Yeah, I know I said
No,
GIF.
no.
Lay off me, internet.
No, but
Like how I
the-
make one joke and it derails us into talking about penis jokes.
I know, but it's Dr. Evil has a giant dick-shaped penis.
Yeah, I know.
And-
I know that scene. I was just.
Doctor
He
Evil
knows,
has
he
a
knows of
giant
that scene.
shaped
He knows of
penis.
that scene, Kuchiri.
Okay.
Jerry, I'm pretty sure that all penises are indeed dick shaped. A giant.
So the episode of the spaceship, then.
Okay, it's a giant.
Yeah,
So the episode of the spaceship, then they just spend, as Frezno said, they just spend several minutes just talking to each other and exploring this vast spaceship. And that spaceship, by the way, was one of the most expensive special effects of the entire episode. Believe it or not, we'll touch more on that when we talk about behind the scenes stuff. We also meet the new best guest star, Jimbo Robot.
Love this robot.
I love the design of this robot.
Gives me same vibes as what was his name from Marvin from
The
Hitchhiker's
Hitchhiker's?
Guide.
Well, Jimbo can't
You
talk.
can't talk. No, and well,
Good.
if you were terribly depressed, that would be all he'd talk about, like Marvin. Which
I mean, to be
but
fair,
the
he has
robot
to
kinda
walk
looks like-
very slowly through the entire thing, so he's
Yeah.
probably very depressed.
Yeah, the
he
robot
kinda
is
looks
extremely
like the,
slow.
robot from the movie adaptation.
He doesn't have the design of those robots, but they kind of reminded me a bit of those walking robots from Super Metroid. That are just programmed to walk forever.
Rain, you're gonna give me bad flashbacks to that room in Super Metroid.
I'm
Arcade.
sorry, those robots were not to blame.
No, those robots were not to blame. Fucking
Robot solidarity.
robot solidarity.
Solidarity.
Robot solidarity. Wait, this isn't a 0-1 podcast. What are we talking
Beauty
about?
gears are meant to be our friends.
Yes.
Oh God.
No,
Oh,
it's okay, Rain, because honestly, if you were in the Kamen Rider one, we keep referencing Symphogear. So this is
and I
good.
don't even do it. It's you guys that keep doing it.
if you had
We can see
25 minutes
werewolves.
in, someone mentions Kamen Rider, congratulations, you just won the pool.
Jackpot.
Fun fact: I cannot see a time for this episode, so it may not be 25 minutes. But if you said this particular moment, someone mentioned Kamen Rider, you just won the pool.
So, do we have anything else to say about the just general atmosphere? I'll just add.
I
That,
love the voice that's saying something over the tannoy as well, but they can't figure out what it is because the
it's
TARDIS
hard
isn't
to-
there to translate.
Yeah, I just
Yep.
this is good Doctor Who. You know, they're in a place. It's weird and strange and cosmic and mysterious, and they got to figure it out and discover something about themselves while they do it. This is proper Doctor Who. It's not up its own ass. It's not like here's everyone ever, but also here's
character-driven.
no resolved plot threads.
It's very character driven, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's going to be incredibly character driven in a moment because
Oh, the dialogue is on point throughout, particularly in the scene we're going to mention two from now.
well,
But
I
but
think
the
we
only
haven't
people on this spaceship are played by Catherine Tate and David Tennant. The Doctor and Donna are not alone.
and I just love how this plays out because Donna is doing a thing in this room with orange lighting. And then it cuts between that and David Tennant doing a thing in a room with blue lighting. And Tennant is watching Catherine Tate do the thing, but Catherine Tate is watching Tennant do the thing. So when I was watching, at first I'm like, oh my God, are we doing non-linear storytelling? Have they been stuck on this ship for months and they're just doing the thing? Which, that's how you get around that interesting, because otherwise, how could they be in two places at once? But no, these things are happening concurrently. So how can they be in two places at once?
Hey, Frez.
Hey, Kat.
My arms are too long.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
So,
Well, Kat,
also...
it's lucky that your arms are long enough to reach over and hit a certain button on that soundboard, because if there ever was a time for this fucking meme to be appropriate, I think it's this time.
yeah, I'll allow it. Go ahead.
We'll do
Alert. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I should also point out that they're doing tasks on the ship with
No!
ambassadors on it.
No!
No.
And it's very likely that this episode was written in 2020.
How do you figure
When
it?
a very popular
apparently,
game
at
is
the
out.
very least, according to the production little tidbit on TARDIS Wiki, the Giggle was made before this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this was the third of the special to be filmed.
How could this be made in 2020? RTD didn't come on until
it was written
2021.
in 2020, filmed in
Written,
2020.
he said written, not filmed.
Well, how would RTD be writing his new Doctor
Well,
Who?
what if he just wrote it as a standard episode originally?
I
Starring whoever the next Doctor was going to be, or if Jodie Whittaker was going to stay on.
will say, for a long time, I've had this idea. This is obscure classic Doctor Who lore. We haven't done this episode yet. There's an episode with the Fourth Doctor called "The Horror of Fang Rock."
Oh,
And there's a shape-shifting alien that impersonates people and tries to kill them in that story, and it's called a Rutan. And the Rutan is actually the sworn enemy of the Santarans. And that's its only appearance. And for years, I've been like, oh my God, Among Us is popular. You know, it'd be great if for Big Finish for somebody to do. They should do a story like that, but with a Rutan on a spaceship and nobody knows who's what. And then Russell just bangs this out, and I'm like, fuck that idea. This is way the fuck better.
and of course, you just mentioned the Rutans. You know, the idea that these Rutans should be these silent aerial killers. Biffus has noted that because it's Santorans versus Rutans coming in 2024.
Yeah, well, you know. That's how Big Finish be, but
They'll probably do a good job with it, but I agree with you.
That's an actual thing they're doing. You weren't doing a bit.
No, that's a real box set coming out in 2024.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Okay, I'm doing it. Hang on, I'm doing it again. I'm showing it again.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes. Here she comes.
Huh.
It doesn't matter how it makes you feel.
Okay, so we have these fucking things. Well, things is a misnomer because, as the other tenant says, we are not things.
Yeah, so they call them the not things.
Well, that's the
Whatever you want to call these things, these are just, or not things as it may be, these things are just fantastic. I mean, yeah, okay, it's just David Tennant and Catherine Tate playing different roles, but they make them distinct. Yes, all right, it's just David Tennant and Catherine Tate playing a double role, but they do it so effectively. And they could do a thing where, for the large part of the episode, you don't know which is which. And they do that for a time. But they also have scenes where you know exactly which one is which because they're acting like evil monsters. And they do it so well.
They're just so good. They're playing this whole, we're not entirely human. We don't understand what these human things are. That's how legs work. You have one joint, not two. Well, that's a weird thing, isn't it?
And then they start growing.
And then it cuts to Kathleen's. Yeah, then it cuts Kathleen's leg with two joints.
And, you know, the entire
that scene is like very, very small, but that's horrific.
Oh, you want horrific?
Well, then you also get a scene where, you know, of course they split up because, you know, what's a Doctor Who episode without the Doctor and the Companion splitting up during a crisis? And, you know, Tate runs into...
It wasn't on purpose.
Quote unquote, the Doctor. And, you know, they're talking and, the doctor's like, "Oh, I'll take off my tie," and so we run into them. You know which one's which. And then, like 3 minutes later, Kate points out the tie disappears. Oh, things remain when they're removed.
Yeah.
Oh, silly me.
And then you attribute to Bray Wyatt.
Rip in peace.
I would like to think it's probably not a tribute to Bray. It's probably the side of wall exorcist thing, but
oh my god, yeah, that's so fucked up. Cat.
I honestly really like the stuff like this because during the whole episode, while you're watching it, it's not immediately obvious which one's the real one until, of course, something really weird starts happening to them, and it sort of really intensifies the horror of this whole thing because these are two of our favorite people. They are stuck in a place with two people who can imitate them, and they're getting better at it as time goes on. And it's like you have the things like the tie disappearing or Donna freaking melting into the floor. But once it starts to get towards the end, you start to be like, oh, holy shit, what is going on here? Like, you have these two people, and you don't know which of those people. It's very much that whole scene of, I don't know which one to shoot.
Well, I mean, considering that we were only, 0.08 millimeters off from having a mistake happen?
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. That scene is so good,
Yeah.
but we have to talk about it at the end.
This scene literally comes in at the end, but yeah, you're right, Kat. I mean, that's the terrifying thing. These are unknowable terrors from outside the universe, and the scariest thing is they're learning our rules. They're learning how
They're
to
learning way too fast too.
They're also
There's
learning.
at one point where the fake Donna is talking to the doctor and is like going on about this really emotional aspect, which we'll get to in a minute. But like, I thought that was really Donna. I was like so scared at the fact that this thing knew everything about the doctor.
And can I just say that My Arms Are Too Long has the potential to become the new Hey Who Turned Out the Lights?
Yeah. Oh no! Whenever I was watching with my roommate, I exactly said, "Oh no, that's going to be the new." Are you my mommy?
It is definitely a Moffat-esque spooky thing for sure.
I mean, honestly, just combine the two. Mummy, my arms are too long.
Oh god!
And now,
just think of one of those, like whenever they're growing big and getting all the limbs messed up. Imagine that with a mask on.
I don't like dolls. That just makes me scared now.
No, that's the next one.
Yeah, but I want to say that that part is also really effective. Not just the whole copying, but when they stop fucking pretending, and when the full body horror of it takes over, and they just become these grotesque abominations chasing the doctor and Donna, the real ones. It is flipping terrifying. Like, people make fun of the effects, but even still, there's that Disney money at work.
I will say that the one chase scene where they're getting like massive and reaching out for them on the cart looks a little ropey.
I fully bought into it. That was great.
But
I also fully bought into it.
Here's my take. Okay, yeah, it kind of looks unnatural and weird, but these things are unnatural and weird.
Also, here's my take on it. Here's my take on it. 60 years of Doctor Who, and you expect good CGI?
That too.
If I had been allowed to finish, I would have said that I actually like it when there's a little bit of hokiness in Doctor Who. I think it fits with the show's philosophy. We've got all these great CGI effects and the Disney money, and as we'll get into later, some fantastic practical effects. But you've also got a little bit of ropiness. So when there was the Rough Warriors looking a little bit weird when they were flying, I didn't mind that. When there's the scene where, it looks a little bit ropey, a little bit lame and naff, but it still works. You can still buy into it like Frezno did.
Exactly.
Well, I think honestly, like if they even tried to make this look more realistic, it might have been more horrifying in other ways instead of letting you know this is still Doctor Who-ish,
Yeah, like Uncanny Valley, which we didn't want.
Yeah, I mean, we already had the horrible scene, which you already brought up, the specter effects with David's arms, and Donna's arms being actual prosthetic.
Oh, that's so funny, by the way. I know you probably haven't seen Unleashed, and I haven't seen all of Unleashed for this episode, but there was a clip on Twitter that from Unleashed that went viral, where it's David Tennant and Catherine Tate just sat around between scenes, and they've got the prosthetic arms on, and they're having a conversation like, the thing about Doctor Who is the effects can't be too in your face, can they? No, it's subtle. You almost don't notice them.
Well, the thing is, those arms, you could still actually use them to grab stuff. It's unpractical, but there was a puppet for each of the fingers.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was rods.
Nice.
They operated the fingers with rods, so they could, when the hand reaches out to grab at the end of that scene before they all get stuck in between the tunnel because they're too big. That hand could actually move. It wasn't just CGI.
Cool.
It may have just been a CGI, a framework for the CGI, but it's still a practical effect, and we still love practical effects here on this show. Or at least I do.
No, it's
Absolutely.
the mainstay in the Tokyo, the practical effects.
CGI has its place, but I think that a mixture is the right way to go here. And
that's usually the best way to go.
These effects are just The director of this episode is Tom Kingsley, and he put some behind the scenes stuff on Twitter of how they filmed the episode. And I think he did a terrific job, by the way. And the general consensus is he was a fantastic director of this. I know Richard Taylor did the first special, did a great job. That was to be expected to Richard Taylor way. This guy, I don't think has ever directed a Doctor Who episode before. Can we please bring him back?
Yeah, by all means.
If this was an audition, you've got the job.
If he wasn't scared off by fans pestering him, if it was Peter or Matt coming back for this episode.
Oh, God. Yeah,
for God's sakes.
He also said,
the episode.
There are no returning characters. By the way, he was technically wrong about that, but he did that deliberately, so it's fine.
Yeah, and can I mention again that we knew next to nothing going into this episode, and the reason we knew they chose to do it like that is because they had a good secret to keep, unlike a certain other era, which we will be discussing shortly in comparison.
I didn't see this episode until 2 days after it aired because I was too busy, so I recorded it and then I watched it on the Monday, and the fact I didn't know anything about it made it so much better.
I know.
And all the scares hit and all the emotional bits hit. It's so much harder. Oh God, yes, more of this, please. I'm gushing. I don't mind that I'm gushing.
Should we talk about those emotional bits, or do we have any more comments on the practicality?
Well, I was just going to talk about the fact that he was sharing how some of the effects are made, and some people don't like this. They think it's pulling back the curtain. No, I can't use that. Mike,
fuck.
Some people think that's going too far into the behind the scenes stuff, but the scene where they appear to grow, and it's a really good effect. You think, oh, that's got to be CGI, right? No, it was two actors standing on a box.
Oh yeah, that I saw that. That was good. And the cat don't pull back the curtain is that movie.
What movie?
I say again, Mike.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh. Well, the one thing I want to say is that I honestly really like both the combination of the horror and the practical effects, because you guys have to remember this is a kid's show. It was always a kid's show. It was always meant for not little kids, but for kids to actually be able to watch this, and they have a hero and they get to watch it with the family. So honestly, this guy is doing a great mix of both the horror of everything as well as the practical side, and making sure that there's that body horror element without making it be too much. And it's like in the past it has been too much sometimes, where even as an adult I was looking at it and be like, what the hell is wrong with these people? But honestly, Kingsley, good job. You're doing good. Come back.
I'd love to know what examples you thought were too much. I'm just curious.
Mostly stuff to do with the master. Like, that whole Bill thing was really, really horrifying. Because, that wasn't just some random person. That was, like, a companion. And the way that they were taunting him and, being horrible. And, like, it was awful. She was crunched up, grinded out, and turned into a Cyberman. It's like, Ugh.
Yeah, that entire episode is real visceral. I mean, the main takeaway I take from World Enough in Time is the part where the cyber people are in the hospital. Pain, pain, pain. Do something. Okay, turn volume down to 0. Like, fuck.
Yeah. It's like the dark moments of Doctor Who have to be handled really delicately because, again, this is meant for kids. And while I'm a huge proponent of traumatize them early, there is a point where it becomes too much trauma.
I'm going to remember this 2 Common Writer podcasts from now.
Oh, for God's sake, this is not the Common Writer podcast, Kuchiri.
Don't worry.
Am I
Is
going
it
to have
bad?
a bad time?
That's Undertale. But
Thomas is traumatizing a Symphic Year Season 5 Episode 2. Wait, shit, damn it. Now I'm doing it.
so it almost got him. No.
Love you too, Rain.
But yeah.
So, do
is
we
it
have
about
anything
time
else
to mention that
about-
that's a top 5 episode for me?
Yeah, I threw a rock at him. It was
No,
good.
I mean, no. World Enough in Time is a top 5 episode for me.
Oh, yes, also very good. So, do we have anything else on practical effects?
Oh no!
No, I'd like to move on to the emotional impact of certain scenes.
Yeah.
You need a confirmation that some controversialness is canon.
Oh, no.
But it's handled so well, though.
I'm
Well-
fine with this scene. I'm
My
going to lay that
roommate
out.
looked at
I'm
me like
fine with
I
it.
was a. Oh, sorry.
That's
sorry.
okay. I'm done now.
Well, I also haven't talked that much this podcast, so. My roommate looked at me like I was a freak whenever they confirmed Timeless Children and the Flux. Like I was clapping and like, oh my god, they're doing it.
She looked at you like you were a freak. That's not very nice.
You were hooting and hollering?
Oh yeah, no.
I caught that smooth, Frezno.
What?
You were hooting and hollering, even though we're broadcasting from Fox. I got the reference.
That was a reference?
Yeah, even though we're broadcasting from Fox, there's no need for not just hooting and hollering.
I have
Oh,
no idea
boy.
what we're talking about.
The Simpsons.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So,
Larry King has a cameo, and it's really quite funny.
I haven't seen The Simpsons in ages, dude.
It's an old episode, but fair enough.
it's from Goodish Simpson. So,
But there are 2 major emotional scenes, and they happen concurrently, actually.
oh yeah?
And one involving the real Donna and the fake Doctor, and the real Doctor and the fake Donna.
We're going to have a lot to say about the real Doctor and fake Donna one. So, perhaps we should focus on real Donna and fake Doctor. Or did I say real Doctor? I don't know. Talk about the real Donna.
Will the real Donna please stand up? We mentioned it before, the whole, I take my tie off and then the tie disappears. But before that, there's a really sort of heartfelt sequence between them with Donna thinking this is her Doctor. I mean, he might be an imposter, but she starts to want the fact this might be her Doctor. And then, of course, we get the whole Bray Wyatt Exorcist Spider-Walk thing. But, again, these 2 leads just bounce off each other so well. I could watch them play off each other for hours, if I'm being honest.
If they had.
Now you know how I feel.
How do you feel?
No, you just remember what I said last time. I said that this was my favorite Doctor and companion duo. Now you know how
Oh, yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, mood. If they had to come back, well, at least they picked a good duo to come back because they're really good.
I mean, we still have like a dozen Doctor Donna Big Finish stories we could still go over too. Like,
I really liked that Death and the Queen one.
That was a good one, yeah.
I think I listened to the other 2 on road trips. I listened to this one. God, I don't remember what the other one was about. There was one about like robots and shit, and then there was can't even recall. Oh, the third one is when people get scared of technology because of alien manipulation. I just remembered that one.
But the upshot was that we learned a fact about Donna, which isn't like a huge fact, but it is in sense of figuring out who's the real and who's the fake. She wasn't born in Chiswick. She was, in fact, born in Southampton. And she didn't tell anybody that. And I know why they're doing that. They're doing that to create a parallel with, the Doctor doesn't know where he's from anymore. But
a parallel? I think you mean.
I mean, we've already played that alert.
Doctor Who Mirror Alert. Doctor Who Mirror Alert.
I tried to stop them from doing the mirror stuff in the other podcast.
As I tried to say, as I was saying, we've already played that alert, and now we play it again.
That was a different one. That was very different.
It was.
Yes.
It was. But we're trying to set up, comparisons because they still link via the Doctor Donna, even though the Doctor Donna has now been taken care of. But they still have that shared experience. And this is something that the fake Donna tries to play off in this brilliant scene between Tennant and Tate, where we finally get the closure that the Flux and the Timeless Child deserve. Well, not closure, but the way it's handled is... Yeah, the way it's handled, I think we'll be going back to that later on, but the way it's all handled is just pitch perfect. And
I am going to speak last about this because I am of two minds on it, but I'd like to get your input, all three of your input on it before I wade in here.
Okay.
Don't everyone go at once.
Fine, I'll Kuchiri said I first.
Oh,
I love this
God,
podcast. Oh,
someone
Jerry,
find a gif of a dumpster fire and just put it right over this right now.
I could do that. Yeah, Kuchiri, you go.
I love it. Whenever I was doing the whole big review a couple years ago, and Frezno and I talked about all these, and I know we've had many talks in my Discord about the Chibnall episodes. I personally like the Timeless Child explanation. It plays into the whole everything, like the Time Lords being gaslighting dicks, which they were a lot in the classic era and a few times in the modern era. I mean,
I was going to say it's not a new thing, but carry on.
I know it's not a new thing, but like the whole we bring back up the 11th Doctor story where it's like we give you another set of regenerations, that kind of thing. Like the Doctor always had them, he just didn't know he could just go for it, right? Yeah, no, I personally like that the Timeless Child is now confirmed. We don't have to worry about the whole 13 regeneration limit anymore. That doesn't have to be ongoing worry whenever we get to the 25th Doctor in 10 years, with how fast I go through Doctors nowadays. And then, of course, the Flux, which was just dumb in general. But, again, it was just treated better with the Doctor actually showing that they still regret all of it happening to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my thoughts. Like, I enjoy what R2D did here, and for sure R2D did it a lot better than Chibnall. But I do kind of like that of everyone that would give Chibnall some respect to keep what he adds to the series there. R2D just added these scenes, and who knows, maybe we'll go into more detail about them under Shui in a few months.
Kat, your turn.
And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Honestly, I still don't like timeless children. In my opinion, this is like a weird cop-out just to make the Doctor more special than they actually are when they don't need to do that. The Doctor is the lead character of the TV show. They're special enough, trust me. Plus, part of the whole thing is, they are special enough in that they are, they're a Time Lord, they have the TARDIS, blah, 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 blah. Go on. But this scene made me like it a little bit more. Because, one of the worst things that you can do to a show is change the canon and then unchange the canon. So the fact that he solidified this and made it reality and also showed the emotional aspect of it, Chibnall. Because, like, this is a big thing to dump onto one person. Not only are they from an alternate universe where they have no idea where they're actually from, not only have they been lied to by the very people they thought they, were part of this entire time, but there's also that whole thing with the flux. Half of the 3/4 of the universe is now gone due to this and, Logopolis. And, like, it's not the Doctor's fault per se, but the Doctor will always feel responsible because they weren't able to stop it in time. The 13th, she wasn't able to do anything, mostly because of Chibnall's writing. And having that big emotional scene of, yes, that is so nice to actually have. And it's like, I'm still not okay with what the Timeless Child brings to the canon. But I am okay with the fact that they have continued to make it part of the canon. They're not just erasing it and pushing it to the side. They're bringing it front and center and saying, we acknowledge it. This is what the character is going through because of it. He is not okay with this. And this is something that's going to haunt him for quite some time, as it should. So I do love this scene. And also Donna's fan.
I also think the scene is a standout of a very, very high. It's a very, very high bar of an episode anyway, but I think this really is one of the absolute standout scenes. And like Kat said, I don't like the fact that we did the Timeless Children, but I love the fact that we're not pretending it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing you could do is say, "Oh, that thing was controversial. Oh, it never happened. It's all right, fandom. You got your way after all." No, that's not how it works. If there's going to be a controversial direction for the series, at least acknowledge it happened.
Rain, we're talking about Doctor Who, not Star Wars Episode 9.
And then Frez comes in, he's like, "Oh, I hated this scene. It was terrible."
How long have you been sitting on that, Kuchiri? Because that was a brilliant line.
No, it's good. Okay, I'm of two minds on this, but not for the Timeless Child part, because I basically agree with Rain there. It's like RTD could have gone in on his second episode and went, "The Timeless Child is no longer canon. That's right, everybody. You win." And like, what would the fucking point be? A bunch of bullshit Chibnall made up is not true anymore. Like, who the hell cares? We still lived through the Timeless Child. We still thought of the ramifications of that. We still emotionally reacted to that episode. Unless you have, like, the giant fuck-off memory erasing thingy from Men in Black, you saying in Wild Blue Yonder, it's not true anymore. That won't change that. So, it doesn't matter. And RTD has a basic level of respect for his friend, Chris Chibnall, to go, you know what? No, I'm not going to erase your contribution to Doctor Who. You contributed to the 60-year history of Doctor Who. What you put in may have been controversial, but I'm not going to disrespect you by wiping it from this precious canon. Here it is. And here's the Doctor emotionally reacting to it. Same thing with the flux. We have made a point, a little meme for the past 2 years and change about how the flux was so confusing that we didn't even know if the universe was restored or not because the Doctor never reacted to it one way or the other. And well, here's our confirmation. The flux was destroyed and the Doctor has an emotional reaction to it, which, I am of two minds on this. On the one hand, good. This is the fucking food we should have had during the Chibnall era. We should have had the Doctor had a reaction to this, to feeling some sort of guilt and shame and angst over the loss of half of the universe and feeling responsible for it. Like, it's basic dramatic storytelling. This is a thing I took Chibnall to task for multiple times over his years, is that he'd set up these interesting plot threads and then just never do anything with them. It's like, ooh, I set this up, and you're going to tune in to see what I do with it. Joke's on you. It was nothing. Thanks for the views, dipshit. See ya. So to actually have some emotional catharsis is great. I love that. But on the other hand, I was thinking about it. I read some tweets about it that gave a different take. And the way it's done is unfortunately kind of falling back into that Remember 2008 when the show was good mindset, because it's basically just repackaged Time War angst.
Yeah.
He's like, I couldn't save them. And it's tearing me up inside. And I'm going to be honest, like, as much as I'm praising RTD in this new fangled era, I had to be honest. If Chibnall did it like this, oh, I couldn't save them, I'm so angsty and sad, I honestly would be raking over the coals again for being like, oh, okay, it's leftover Time War angst. Yeah, remember 2008 when the show was good? I honestly know I would be doing that. So I had to be honest as a critic and say that. As great as it is that there's emotional catharsis, kind of wish it wasn't so similar to something from back in RTD's first run, especially when we're in this entire, retro regeneration renaissance, as it were. So I'm of mixed opinion on it. It's good emotional catharsis, but we've kind of had it before, so have to take it with a grain of salt.
Oh, you magnificent bastard.
So before we get to the salt scene, so you don't want them calling back to scenes in the 60th anniversary special that have a whole bunch of callback scenes to it?
I'm just saying that's how I feel. You know how I feel. At this point, it's like I'm honestly like I have a panic response to any nostalgia where it's like, no, get in the way, do something original. And this really is going to come up when we talk about the giggle. I'm basically traumatized by anything that's a callback at this point.
Honestly, I do want to just say two things to you, Frez. One, we have a series of specials where it's RTD, Murray Gold, David Tennant, and Catherine Tate, and you don't expect them to call back at least a little bit to 2008 when the show was good?
I mean, I expect it, but it doesn't mean I got to be happy about it.
And second, this is a joke that I came up with while you were talking about that whole "are they going to make the Flux canon" thing? Not truly canon. Not entirely canon.
God
10 out of 10. 5 out of 7.
God damn it.
The Flux is not entirely canon. Except it is.
Well, if you go by with some of the theories from the next episode, that might be the case.
But you know what is canon? Salt.
I'm gonna have a lot to talk about with the giggle. Just trust me on that.
I think that's going to be like 3 hours long. I hope not, because I'd like to get things done over Christmas. But we'll go.
Book out your entire weekend, Rainiac. Just book out your entire weekend.
I don't need to have a New Year's Eve anyway, do I? But
let's get our salt out of the way and talk about salt.
No, I'm sorry. Frezno's segue was better.
Kuchiri gets the better segues like 9/10 of the time. Give me.
No, you knocked this one out the park. But yeah, this scene does not seem particularly important in the episode, but it goes into a big implication for the next episode.
Honestly, even when this was like the new episode, it felt you could say, oh yeah, they're definitely seeding something there.
But what I love about this is not the seeding for the future; it's the fact that we have the idea that two things that are different can be right at the same time. Because earlier, Donna,
she's smart and stupid.
Yeah, and the Doctor manages to identify that's the real Donna because she thinks that, and the other thing can't think that because it's too complex for it. Then the Donna not thing, or Donna 2, whatever you want to call her, starts to count the salt grains because that was a bit strange because were they implying these were vampires? Perhaps.
I mean, the superstition is about vampires. It's like
alchemy.
I think it's just about evil in general, like evil and salt. Like if you ever
But she's also outsmarted them because she's actually doing it to blow the salt away.
Well, she starts counting before she realizes to blow.
Because she's learning.
Yeah, but in other shows with supernatural enemies, salt is usually the answer. 8/10 of the time.
Well, salt is used in Battlefield.
So what you do is if you encounter a demon, you take a hula hoop and you fill it full of salt. And you just hula your way past the demons.
Yeah, why didn't Dean Winchester think of that one?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer!
Why did he say it that way? No one will ever know.
That's what Texans do.
Yas, Queen. So,
Yes, Queen. No, don't you mean Yas given an ice cream cone and kick the fuck out?
Queen.
anyway,
All Queen.
I'm disappointed only one of the three of you got why I said it like that. But, Kat, thank you.
Oh no, I know why you said that way. I'm just being stupid.
Oh God.
I didn't have to say anything, but we'll go back to the scene next time when we do the giggle in 5 months. No.
We'll probably get it like after.
Before New Year, but after Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
and
lucky
then
we're
also-
recording anything today.
We also have to record Church on Ruby Road at some point. I'm looking forward to that. My God, but that's for another time.
We call dibs, son. We call dibs.
I made a deal with someone.
What I really, really enjoy, though, the best scene for me is the finale and how we get to it. This is just pure Russell T Davies, peak writing, because it's just 4 characters talking about the situation with the added visual image of the dead captain's body floating around in space, because that was why the airlock was open 3 years ago. And this is just so good. Like, you have the doctor was saying, I've got it. We just don't think, and they won't be able to do anything.
Then he starts figuring out the whole thing.
So wait, I'm sorry. Are you telling me that in this spaceship floating around in space, there are a bunch of imposters and someone got thrown out the airlock?
I mean, we made that joke 50 minutes ago, but yes.
And it is, because it's true. This is just Among Us in Doctor Who.
Thanks, I hate it.
Watch out! I might
if I had a
go
nickel
sitcom mode again.
if I had a nickel every time a movie or show came out this year that was probably rented in the time of the pandemic, I've had almost $5.
Okay, that pot based. Because I was going to say, if I had a penny, because I'm not from Texas, screw you. If I had a penny for every time a friend of the doctor turned out to be an imposter and then melted into the floor, I'd have 2 pennies, which isn't a lot, but it's weird. It's happened twice.
Brainiac, sweetheart, we have pennies.
Damn it!
I mean, I don't know why we still have pennies. We should probably just,
I know, they cost like 5 cents
Canada
to make a
doesn't have
penny.
pennies
It's worthless.
You still have pennies to catch me out, apparently.
Apparently, yes. Now we can get rid of them.
And it
All
worked.
load for treasury.
Also, Don or Catherine Tate, the way they did that scene, they dug a hole in the floor and they filled it with goo, and then they stuck Catherine
Yay.
Tate in it.
I love that. I love that so much.
Practical effects rule, yo.
Oh, how much of this?
Anyway, so the doctor is trying not to figure out what's going on. He's got it like half figured out, but if he thinks about it, then the nothing doctor is going to figure it out. And they're across each other from a glass pane. I wonder if that's going to be a thing in all 3 episodes.
Oh my God.
For every time a noble and the doctor. I did this bit last week.
You'd be ripping me off, but that's a story for another time. And it all culminates in both doctors figuring out what is going on here. It's all about the slow. The ship is slow. The robot is slow. And that's because the ship is slowly turning into a bomb. A very slow bomb. And the doctor actually said it was a countdown right at the beginning of the episode, but it's still a very good reveal. And then we get the chase. My God, this chase.
Chase, but where's the Beatles and the Daleks on the Mary Celeste and Morton Dill?
The Beatles
Nancy,
are coming in
what's
series.
Go ahead.
The Beatles are coming next year.
Oh my God!
Did you not see that clip?
Lena, who did you bribe?
There's going to be a Beatles episode.
What? Link that
It's
shit immediately.
Probably the one with Jinx Monsoon in it.
Okay.
Oh my
okay.
God, I need to see this so bad.
All right.
And also, I was going to
to
point out. I'm kind of disappointed in you, Frez,
Why?
because like one of the first things we see with the Noth things is we see the Noth things chasing the Doctor and Donna, and now we have Doctor and Donna chasing the Noth things.
Oh shit!
That's a Scooby-Doo alert.
Sadly, I do not have one of those, but I do
But
have one of
Uh-oh.
these.
Doctor Who Mirror Alert.
It's the Baker's version.
I think we broke the button. It messed up this time.
We do have a slowed down
It's sorted
version,
out,
otherwise that's really
finally.
funny. But
We've been using it too much.
But
Yes.
yeah, I want to plant my flag here. Lena McTeer, you're invited for the Beatles and Shooty Gatwa podcast.
absolutely. We're sticking a claim right now for Lena for that episode.
Well,
I'm staking a
like, we
claim
should've
that
got
we're
the-
going to film that episode with me. I am not missing out on that, no matter what happens.
We missed on getting Lena to be part of the 01 podcast because the whole wolf thing with Vulcan.
This is not the Kamen Rider podcast. Can we move on? But
We missed
no,
having Lena on Symphogear XV.
this
to
whole
talk
chase
about
is
the
great.
rules.
To just analyze individual bits of it would do it disservice. If you haven't seen this scene, it's on out there on the internet. Watch it for God's sake. It is just beautiful. But you have the two doctors running to the button, the real doctor to prevent it from being stopped. The fake doctor trying to stop the button from being pushed to blow up the ship. The two Donnas are running after it. Then the fake Donna, who's actually ahead of the real Donna, tackles the doctor and misses completely. She must play for Aston Villa. And actually, they're doing really well. They're like second or third in the table right now. But one thing they're not is champions of the world. Yes, I will exploit that every opportunity now that's happened. But it's football. Don't worry about it. Then she tackles the real Donna. They have a fight. Donna fighting herself is great because Donna says, oh, this is cathartic. She punches her other self. And then the fake
what's that?
doctor.
A fight?
All right, I'll allow it. I mean, you just seem determined to drag this out longer than it needs to be, but whatever.
That's the Doctor Who review experience, baby.
They have a scuffle, and it's really rather good. I mean, it's minor, but just the idea of you fighting yourself is kind of great. But then, just as the doctor's about to catch up to his doppelganger, the doppelganger decides, wait a minute, I'm faster if I go to 4 legs, which he does. And this is the most amazing thing of the behind-the-scenes stuff on Twitter now, and I'm going to risk presenting. I hope this doesn't break anything. Just give me 2 seconds to set this up. That is a genuine mock-up of what this looks like by the director.
Oh my god.
I wanted to sleep tonight, Rain.
David Tennant's sleep paralysis demon is not real and can't hurt you. David Tennant's sleep paralysis demon.
Oh, I cannot wait for the analog horror that will come from this episode. Years
As a bonus, by the way, there's also this.
But
Frog.
This was also in the behind the scenes.
it's Jimbo the robot.
Yeah, but look at the detail on him.
Very nice.
Frog.
Yeah.
Why he looks all shiny and reflective, almost like a.
Okay, stop.
Yeah, that's just a stretch now, but you get my
That is,
point.
making your arms too long to this situation.
Your arms are just a little too long to box with God.
Later.
I love that cut out because I was talking. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's just incredible.
Shit.
But upshot of it all is that the knot thing runs out of time, and the TARDIS knows this because it's a time machine. So it's back playing the theme, playing the song "Wild Blue Yonder," and then David Tennant kickstarts it with his foot, which is just the best thing.
Hey, remember when Kat mentioned the whole cliche of doppelgangers where it's like, no, shoot them, I'm the real me. No, that's a fake. I'm the real me.
Oh, this scene is so good again.
Oops.
Yeah, and how does he solve it? Who was the drama teacher, Mrs. Bean? And why is that funny? And the genius of this scene, the real Donna gives an answer that sounds like someone trying to come up with an answer, and the fake Donna gives an answer that sounds natural. So the Tenant takes the one that gives a natural answer, but he's got the wrong one.
He gets it wrong.
Man,
Oh,
can you guys believe that the following special had fake Donna all along, and we didn't know until the last minute? And it's just
God.
extra grief and horror onto the Doctor that he accidentally killed his best friend and took a nothing into the real world.
And then it really would have been Ganger Amy, but
I would have flown to the UK, found RTD, and smacked him straight in his stupid face if he actually did that.
there's also a video that says, "What if this was a cliffhanger?" And to that person, no.
Actually, I did see that edit on Twitter.
It's an amazing edit, but also no.
Also no.
Bad.
Yeah, like
No,
for the second
no.
time in these specials, I forget that Donna's in all three of them, and I buy. Oh shit, Donna's going to die.
Yeah, because the
I
Doctor
didn't know
not
Donna was in all three of
annihilated.
them. I had no idea she was in all three of them. Ah, my heart.
At the last moment, the Doctor realizes, pulls a lever, and turns the ramp going out the TARDIS door into a big slide, and it just yeets the not Donna out and takes.
And they really did that, by the way. I don't know if they did it with her standing or with Catherine Tate, but they really did that.
And so they yell as
Awesome.
they get blown to fucking smithereens, and Tennant is like, yeah, her arm was 0.8 centimeters too long.
The TARDIS saves the day. The TARDIS
Why
Wow,
does
it's
this.
almost like the TARDIS is a sentient being or something.
Yeah, I know. Crazy talk, right? And then we get an universe explanation. I should have done that thing with the soul, and that does indeed go somewhere. But we're not quite done with the My Heart bit, because there was one returning character. The director wasn't quite speaking the truth. The TARDIS lands, and we see, for the last time in Doctor Who, Bernard Cribbins.
Bless his heart.
I'm like already tearing up because I
Yeah.
did not know that he had filmed anything for these.
Oh,
See, I did know he was going to be in this episode, and I thought they'd taken his scenes out because the actor had died. I'm so glad they didn't.
I'm also very glad they didn't.
Again, it's the 2008 nostalgia. But, in the case of a recently departed beloved actor, you can let shit like that slide.
Yeah, you better let this fucking
Yeah.
slide. I'm already. Again, I am already tearing up just thinking about this. The fact that Wilf Noble, finally gets to see the Doctor again. And not just any Doctor, his Doctor.
It's nice.
His Doctor that he accidentally killed.
Let's not go into that.
Yeah, but there are details.
If I had a
It's
nickel
alright, as
for
long
every
as he's not going to knock 4 times again, we'll be fine.
if I had a nickel for
Gravity's
every time
magnetic.
a
Wait, no,
noble and a doctor were in front of glad. Wait, shit, I'm doing it again.
That's the third time you made this joke. You know that
Here comes
bird
John.
that makes the same joke at the stand-up and gets heckled, gets the new material.
So, mirrors. Wait, shit.
You're not helping your cause here, buddy.
Love you too.
But I did tear up at this, first because we lost Bernard Cribbins, and there was supposed to be more scenes with him, and he wasn't well enough to film them. So this is the one scene they were able to film.
Oh, it's a good
It
scene.
wasn't a case of we're going to cut these out. We're going to cut the other scenes out of respect for him. No, if they could have filmed them, they would have absolutely put him in. He's not in the giggle at all. Wilf's in the giggle, but Bernard Cribbins is not in the giggle. So this is the final time, and they did put up a tribute to him at the end of the episode, as they should,
Rip in peace.
because he was an absolute legend, and this character was so impactful, despite only having a few appearances.
One of these days, we'll talk about the second Peter Cushing movie, and then you'll see him again.
One of these days, we'll talk about Partners in Crime, and you'll see him again.
That too.
Not his debut. His debut was Voyage of the Damned. I don't think I can care enough to bring myself to talk about Voyage of the Damned. But
Wait, we haven't done Partners in Crime yet?
no,
Apparently not.
I think we'll do that
Know
one.
what I'm picking.
Yeah, sometime this year we'll probably end up doing that one.
Give some distance between the specials.
Oh, for God's sakes.
She was so excited to pick it that she left.
Elon! although obviously they couldn't do the right send-off that they wanted to do with like more scenes, it is a very nice way to see at the end of the character and the end of the actor on the show.
Yeah,
It's done respectfully,
agreed.
and it hit me hard because of certain
Yeah.
recent events in my life that I will not go into. But Wild Blue Yonder kicked ass.
So, anything else, or shall we move into our final thoughts?
My final thoughts are it kicked ass. It's my favorite of the 3 specials.
If we have a special like this every season from now on, or an episode like this every season from now on, I'd be a happy coochie.
Nice. I thought it was fucking incredible. Just weird and strange and interesting new Doctor Who, and it did so much with just a big corridor and David Tennant and Catherine Tate. It had those emotional beats that probably should have been in Chibnall's era. It had the body horror. It had the cosmic wonder. It had everything that I love in Doctor Who in this tight little package, and I loved it. What a great show. Kat, what did you think?
Honestly, I thought this was a really excellent episode. It called upon the emotional aspect, it had the action aspect, it had tons of body horror, but not so much that it would turn away, most people. It was... I'm sorry, I have to say this, but it was essentially a return to 2008 when the show was good, but updated for the modern audience as well. Where it had the good jokes, it had great effects, it had practical effects, it had a great story, it had that big emotional moment at the end with Wolf. I don't want to say that this is my favorite of the trio, but it's definitely up there.
I'll let you have that 2008 comment.
I will as well, because this is my favorite of the 3 specials. As good as the giggle is, as incredible as parts of the giggle are, this is my favorite of the 3 specials, because it's just what I like in this show. Something different, something weird, but also so well written. And oh god, this kicked ass.
Oh yeah. And speaking of giggles, that'll
Really
be
did.
next time.
That will be next time, yeah.
Yeah.
The return of the toy maker and so much else. I mean, well, I think this is the
Fucking
best
Neil
specials
Patrick
for me.
Harris.
The giggle, I think, is the most important of the 3 specials going forward.
It's definitely the spiciest.
Oh, nice.
Ah,
Yeah, you just reclaimed the Segway crown. Well done.
Crane, where can you find us, lovely people?
You can find us, lovely people, on... Don't cancel us, please, Elon Musk. No. You can find us, lovely people, on Twitter, at Reviews Doctor. Individually, we are at the Maniac, at Cock Usurper, at Freezing Inferno, and at the Kuchiri. Reinstate him, you coward Elon Musk. And I just log in after this.
Or
goes up,
cancel me too. I haven't done anything.
I just log into my
Justify
Twitter,
that,
like,
bitch.
Weird, I can't get access to my Twitter anymore. Elon! You can, we're on Twitch. Sorry, that threw me. We're on Twitch at twitch.tv/Rainiac the Maniac. /Rainiac, /Conquer Freezing Inferno, and /Kuchiri. Is it the Kuchiri or Kuchiri?
The Kuchiri.
The Kuchiri. So it matches the Twitter.
They won't let me drop the. I've been trying to drop the from everything, and they won't let me.
So does the Meep. That didn't work out for them either.
Oof.
God damn.
You're the definitive article, Kuchiri.
He is always the Kuchiri. Buy The Tower Through the Trees by our friend Sean Dillon on Amazon.com. Buy Volumes 1 and 2 of Battle of the Inferno by Lena Fenrir McTeer, who is definitely doing the Beatles episode with us. Definitely. Pinky swear, guys. At
Better.
Amazon.com. The Shadow of the Gala
You know
Throne
you
featuring
wanna.
Lena and Sean and some guy called Jerry Snook, among others.
Who the hell is that?
I have no idea. It's available to buy
I don't
online
know.
as well. And the link
I think he
below.
was in the band Wham.
Christmas #1.
Oh, Last Christmas. Yeah.
Maybe we can finally stop buying Last Christmas. Now it's Christmas #1. We've done it, guys. It should have been the Pogues, but we've done it.
Don't worry, we'll boost Mariah Carey just for you.
Hey.
She's never been Christmas #1, but she's been #1 around Christmas, if that makes any sense.
Also, we all know that I do not play the Mariah clip during Christmas time.
Yeah,
I do it
cloak
all
of
the
doubt
rest
on
of the
that
time.
one.
cloak down.
Petition to change our Christmas song to Janice Goblin.
Janice Goblin.
Excuse.
I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that the song makes me physically ill half the time, I would.
By the
But
way,
it does. So
we're
it
not
won't.
doing the Christmas episode just yet, but shout out to Christina Rotondo and a reverse shout out to Benjamin Cook for being stunning and brave and telling that woman on Twitter that she was wrong.
Womp womp.
That guy writes for the magazine. Can you believe it?
What? Someone writing for Doctor Who magazine being a shit? Color me shocked. Next, you'll tell me that they spoke over a bunch of teens and said, actually, there's nothing wrong with the talons of Weng Chiang. How dare you children get outraged?
We'll see you next time for the giggle. Good night, everybody.
There's a slippery
Good
slip there,
night.
Frez.
No, that actually happened.
Well, we know.
We'll see you next time for the giggle. Good night, everybody.
Ray, tell him to stay away from that with the 10-foot pole.
We'll see you next time for the giggle. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.